visionary, revolutionary. I'm a visionary, revolutionary.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the D&B Podcast. I'm your host, Studio Salamander, and I'm here with my stupendous co-host, KB the Mark.
Cause I'm a fucking mark for this shit.
And today we got a special guest. We got the man, King Benji. How you doing today, man?
What's going on, man? I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me. Thank y'all both for having me. This is like an honor for me.
Man, thank you for coming. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, thank you. You know, me and Salamander, we always talk off camera about how we want to get other people in here, try to help grow. Because, you know, we're just all wrestling fans at the end of the day.
Most definitely. I appreciate it.
Right. But today we came together to talk about one topic. And since today is the 1200th episode of SmackDown, it's time to talk about one of, you know, SmackDown top stars that got that start on SmackDown. And the question is, was John Cena good or bad for this era of wrestling? Did it rub off this era of wrestling in a good or bad way? Since you the guest, King Benji, I'm gonna kick it off to you first.
Oh man, I don't know. Like this era, like I don't know. Like it's like such an unpopular opinion, what I'm about to say, but I never was honestly like a John Cena fan. During the Doctor and Thugonomics phase, like I thought it was cool. Like I thought it was awesome. Like this is great. Then as it slowly like transcended to the PG era, it kind of just like threw me off. Like I think it was so forced upon us that it just, I don't know, man. It just rubbed me the wrong way, and I think it really did. I think it led into the way wrestling was for about the last 10 years, maybe. That's my opinion.
Okay. Well, after the Chris Benoit tragedy that happened, that kind of forced WWE to move away from the ruthless aggression era that they was doing.
Yeah.
With that being said, John Cena was one of the biggest up-and-coming stars coming up in that era. And his chemistry with the fans was tremendous. You know, he had a love and hate relationship with everyone, you know. And I really think, like, you know, we all love to hate him and stuff. Like,
yeah.
It's John Cena. Like, we hate him when we see him a lot, but when we don't see him, we miss him. But he made a lot of money for WWE as well. And they took notice of this, and so when they was making the steps to move towards the PG era, that's when they made him the face of it, because they seen how he got over with the fans. Two, they seen how, you know, how he connected with the kids, and that's what they were trying to target, to move away, to separate from everything that happened in the past that gave them a negative light. He had a lot of title reigns during this era as well. Some of the bad things, he stopped a couple people pushes, like Alice Riley, Zack Ryder, Lord Tensai. You can say CM Punk, you can throw that up there, but then also on the good hand, he put stars over at the same time, like Bobby Lashley, AJ, Kevin Owens, The Miz, Bryan Danielson, Dolph, Edge. You can say CM Punk as well. Roman, Seth, Bray, and Brock. Now, some of the people is new wrestlers. He did get over some of the new wrestlers later on in his career, but most of the legends that we all consider legends, early in their career, they was mostly selfish. So can we really blame him for, you know, stopping other people pushes for his own gain? Because I mean, all the greats did it. Triple H did it, and now, you know, we seen him giving back. John Cena did it. He gave back later on in his career. KB, what's your take on
that? So to piggyback off what King Benji said, I'm so glad I found somebody who agrees with me. I was never the biggest Cena fan myself. But my problem with Cena, because I also agree with Salamander, he gave a lot back. I think he's done more good than harm, but that harm, it stinks because it's just out there. There was a whole time where it was you, but you made it up on the back end by putting over so many stars. But I think if this one thing was different, we wouldn't talk about it so much. If his matches just weren't always cut, copy, and paste. Cena always overcome. If you're gonna push somebody to be super Cena, he should just dominate everybody. He shouldn't just, oh, he got his ass beat for most of the match, but he came back, hit his 5 moves, and boom, we're going home. That's not to say that that doesn't work, but when you see it so many times, it's just like Roman and Roman's reign now. We get tired of seeing the Usos. You're the tribal chief. You're the big dog. I want to see you dominate a win. I don't want to see you dominate the likes of a Cesaro, but then you get in there with somebody of upper echelon like a Brock Lesnar, and you look like you're the underdog. You don't want to see that all the time. I think if they just cleaned up Cena's matches and made him more dominant, it wouldn't be looked at as a bad thing, because we would say, well, this is what he did. Look at where he took the company from. He took them from a dark time, took them into a new era, and made them a lot of money, probably the most money at that time until now. So I think he's done more good than harm, but the bad is bad, and it's out there.
I would say, The Rock, he said it the best. When they went with John Cena, they lost a lot of fans. Cause it was the kiddie stuff. The people that was staying in tune was the people who was here that was, for the stuff that was going on, the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era. Once they made that jump to PG, what's everybody say? Well, why they on Ross Wrestling now? The main excuse is it's too kiddie. So I'm like, did he really hurt this era of wrestling? I would say yeah, in a way, but kind of on the fan aspect. But he also helped it, because just look at the he paved the way for so many wrestlers to make it. Like, how many wrestlers look up to him that we got that wrestling now, like Austin Theory. So it just makes you think. But I say, in different eras, we got different goats. But I would say from the PG era, I would say that's John Cena era. He was the GOAT of that era. But since wrestling is so subjective, I really think it just depends on how you view wrestling, if you agree with this question or not. Some people may say he ruined it, some people may say not.
I think. Go ahead.
I think ruined is a strong word, because definitely, but in the piggyback with both of you saying, he did so much for the company business wise through his run that it's undeniable. If you even outside of the ring, his philanthropy, all that stuff, he did so much for the business, brought so much light to it. But like you said, it's it pushed a lot of older fans away who was used to the WWE standard being more adult oriented, more ruthless, if you would say. And he didn't, like you said, he buried a lot of people, but he also put people over. And one of the matches that he was comparing to Roman, was when John Cena fought Brock at SummerSlam. The way John Cena got treated during that match, as comparison to his other match, was totally different than what you've seen. It was always the same thing. He's either on top or just really getting manhandled.
Mm-hmm.
And it just comes to a point where it's when did it I think besides Roman, he's the second superstar that I've seen that was pushed through countless amount of boos during a face run. It was just to me, it was just unbelievable. But I think ruin is just such a strong word. I feel I don't know, I wouldn't say ruin, but he didn't help that much, if you would say.
I would say, or one of my bigger issues with Cena is, and it's the same thing that we all have a problem with AEW, is how many times are you going to kick out of a finisher? It's called a finisher for a reason. I don't want to see you kick out of, if I'm at WrestleMania, and let's just say the match we never got, Cena versus Taker. at WrestleMania. Let's say we're looking at that. John Cena's he's a top guy, so I'm gonna give him two. I'm gonna give him two. He shouldn't kick out a third. I don't want to see the finger on the rope. I don't want to see him power out at 1 or 2. We're talking WrestleMania with The Undertaker. I'm giving you 2. I don't want to see you kicking out of 3+ finishers. At what point is it that finishers just don't affect you? And if that's the direction we're going, then just be clear with it. I hate that in AEW. Why do I gotta see? And Salamander knows I'm an Omega fan. I'm gonna be very decisive on this. You know how many times I see a V trigger in a match? Like 10 times. Why am I seeing it that many times? When I think of the V trigger, it's a knockout blow. Not saying he can win it off that, but I don't need to see it 10 times. Give me 3 tops. Going to the one-winged angel.
I agree with you on that.
I don't want to see it all the time. I don't want to see Cena kicking out of finishers all the time. And that was the thing that just was pushing me away of Super Cena. I mean, how many RKOs are you gonna kick out of? It's the most devastating. It's the most devastating move. You can't even see it coming. Why are you kicking out of like 4 of them?
I agree with that.
So the next question is, John Cena, 20 years in the game. Out of all the people who he wrestled, some people he stopped that push on, but it was some people who he won, but he shouldn't have won. But at the same time, they still look good. So out of like matches like that, what was your favorite?
You mean matches? Just any match in his career? What are you saying?
Yeah, like a match like where it's a match where John Cena don't necessarily needed the win, but he picked up the win anyway. But it was like a match that was going towards like if his opponent would have won, this would have been like the biggest win of their career. Like I'll give you an example. Mine is Umaga. That rivalry with Umaga, the last man standing match. He really didn't necessarily need to win that match, but he won anyway. But the way he did won, it still made Umaga strong because he was portrayed as this beast, this monster, and he basically choked him out. And then when he was asleep, he wasn't even asleep that long. He got back up, still ready to attack him. So he was still made look strong at the end. Another example, Bobby Lashley during the Great American Bash. He didn't need to go over then, but he did. But at the same time, Bobby Lashley did still look strong at the end.
Oh, okay. I can't remember the year. It's him and Brock at Extreme Rules where he beat Brock by punching him with the chain.
Oh my God.
He definitely could have took the L in that one. Because then he ended up cutting a promo afterwards.
That was more of them trying to punish Brock for leaving what he did. So
he didn't need to win.
Yeah. They gave it back to him a little and beat his ass. What was it? SummerSlam?
Oh yeah, SummerSlam. Yeah.
Okay, I guess that's like saying that Becky Lynch got her payback when all the time Charlotte just did some bullshit to her. No, it ain't the same. It's not the same. He didn't need that win. And you know the crazy part, Brock looked at outside of the SummerSlam. Well, that was later on, but before the SummerSlam, that's the most dominant I've ever seen Brock Lesnar look against John Cena. And they made it Extreme Rules just so you could kind of see Cena sticking around instead of it just being Brock beating his ass in Extreme Rules.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely didn't need that win.
That is true.
I want to throw another one out there. Cena and AJ Styles. Then they fought multiple times.
Yes.
And he win the first time at SummerSlam. Yeah, that one. I don't think he needed to win that one.
I mean, it's AJ though. It's
But
AJ.
at this time, AJ was on the up and coming. He was on the road. He was like the face of SmackDown.
Listen, you gotta worry about your top guys first. John Cena's been there. AJ, he's gonna have his time.
John
You
Cena
gotta
was
pay your dues.
on
Aren't
vacation.
you? Aren't you telling me that you got to pay your dues? Pay your dues. Yeah, you were a big guy in Impact. You were a big guy all across the world, but you're not a big guy here. You work your way up. Yeah, we respect the name value, but you haven't done shit for us. So go out here, put on a great match with Mr. John Cena, and we're gonna let the chips fall where they may. I mean, it's not you acting like they weren't in the process of ruining AJ Styles in about what, a year and a half from then, 2 years from then. Shinsuke, AJ, WrestleMania.
Yeah, you can say that. I'll say in that they rumor more Shinsuke than AJ.
Yes.
Shinsuke rumor for that from that. I don't think he still ain't recovered yet.
Nah, he really didn't.
Birds of a feather flock together. They were both destroyed. You killed both of them, champion and challenger.
AJ got destroyed when the OC got released and they paired him up with Omos. That's when I started seeing him go down.
Yeah, that was. I did not like that at all. Like that was terrible.
I mean, it's was it AJ or was it Omos? I think it's Omos.
It was Omos and it was the booking.
Bookings were horrible.
Yeah.
They treated him like they had no respect.
It's crazy how much of that little change that we see already and how much of an impact it's making already. And it's just the beginning.
Yeah.
But overall, is John Cena top 10 of all time?
Oh my God. I'm glad you didn't say top 5 though.
That is tough. It's tough.
Top 10 all time.
All eras, everything.
Oh my God.
If he's top 10, he's either 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Teetering on 11.
Teetering on 11. He might drop to 13 if I really sit there and look at a list.
But he is on that list, right? On
Yes,
that top 10.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Barely. He would be number 10.
Who will be? Where will Hulk Hogan be at? That's basically the same wrestler. They basically the same.
I'm glad
Only Cena got over Hogan and Cena could talk better.
I'm glad somebody else is saying this because I legit said the same thing. I was like, they're identical. Not, physically, but that was like the same product right there.
Very much.
Hogan? I can't stand Hogan, to be honest. I'm
If Cena 10, Hogan, they tied at 10. They gotta be. They're the same wrestler.
You got a point there.
Same wrestler.
I mean,
James is gonna love this.
I mean, just imagine if we could take 07 Cena and prime Hulk Hogan, prime America Hulk Hogan.
That'd be the
have him at WrestleMania
ever.
You think so?
Yes, it will be.
No, you tripping. The crowd is on their feet. The crowd's on their feet. Hulk Hogan get the hulking up. John Cena over here just doing. Bro, it's John Cena and Hulk Hogan. There's too much charisma.
They both going to end because you talking about kickouts. They all kick out each other's finisher move.
Both of them wrestle the same way. They get beat up the majority of the match, and then they turn around and then just win out of nowhere. They just get this momentum and energy out of nowhere after they were tired and bloody. So who's gonna play that role? They both want to do the same thing.
It's obvious Hulk Hogan's gonna have to bleed. We gotta get the blood in the hair.
Yeah. But at the same time, who's gonna go over? They not. We both know these two men history. That's gonna be the boringest match ever. They gonna both be calling out moves, loud, getting
overselling.
You're not understanding it. You're not Salamander. You're not seeing the bigger picture. John Cena, right? Hulk Hogan's gonna go for this leg drop. John Cena's gonna turn over onto his stomach. When Hulk Hogan goes to drop the leg, John Cena's gonna pick him up. And the crowd's gonna go nuts. they're going to be on their feet. He's going to hit him with an AA, keep hold of the wrist, flip into it, do another one, only for Hulk Hogan to Hulk back up and get the point at him. Bro, the crowd going to be on their feet. They're not going to know what to do.
And
This
then
will be the greatest match they've ever seen.
Hogan gonna finish and hit the leg drop, Cena kick out at 2, and then it's just gonna keep going back and forth like that.
We got a good 15 minutes on it.
Not gonna end.
Ever end. That match would need its own pay-per-view. Like, it would just be them and nobody else on the card. It's just them. Like, that match would be so long.
You know what else will be a boring match, but not because they're not good wrestlers, because they are, but mainly because it's just gonna be nothing but goddamn super kicks.
Oh my God, here we go.
Dolph Ziggler and Shawn Michaels.
That match will be so fire.
Bro.
They both.
You act like
both
Dolph Ziggler can't wrestle.
No, they both can, but
No,
they
absolutely.
both got the same, like, kind of similar arsenal. It's just gonna be a super kick. It's gonna be a record-breaking super kick. They both got to hit like 20 super kick each on each other.
How does it end?
A double super kick, double count out.
I was thinking the same thing.
Facts. Nah, absolutely. They just gonna be laying there. It's gonna be the count of 10. Absolutely.
It gotta be clean. All right, King Benji. Since you a Shawn Michaels fan, what's the cleanest super kick you ever saw?
Oh, the cleanest super kick I ever saw
Yeah.
is when he super kicked Bret Hart in the wheelchair.
That's a classic.
Wasn't a part of a match, but it was just like, I would watch it sometimes just to see if he actually like just made complete contact. It was so clean, so smooth, and just on point. Like, match wise, it was so many. But I think that one like what stood out to me. That, and when he gave it to Booker T when he was part of the NWO and he kicked Booker T out, like, that was also like a real smooth, clean one.
Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels had real beef, so that super kick might have been real.
I was thinking the same thing, because the way Bret like just fell, I was like, yeah, that had to be something behind that one.
Yeah. The one I ever saw was the one on Shelton Benjamin. But he can't make the jump for the top rope.
Off the rope, yes. I forgot about that.
Called him. That's the when I think of a super kick, that's the first thing that comes to my head.
I don't know how either one of you guys could just not mention the Ric Flair. I'm sorry. I love you. And we go home.
But that's a sad one.
Yeah.
That's an iconic. It's almost as iconic as the Bret Hart wheelchair or the Shelton Benjamin. He retired a legend.
And it did pop in my head when, like, it went through my head when I was thinking of it. That definitely went through my head. That was a different kind of super kick.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about it. Like, we get on, everybody, me included, we talk shit about the camera work of WWE. But that was the one time where they got it spot on. Focused on Shawn. I'm sorry, Rick. I love you. And that's how you go home.
Yeah, that was damn near cinematic. Excuse my language. That was like almost cinematic, absolutely.
Yeah, I like how Rick was calling for it, like he just knew it. Just like, come on.
That was storytelling at its finest right there.
It's crazy that we see the young Charlotte in the crowd. We didn't know she was gonna become such a superstar. That's the crazy thing. But before we head out, is there anything you want to plug, King Benji?
First, like, this is my first time doing something like this. Like, of course, you see me like on my lives and stuff. This is my first time actually doing a podcast, so I feel kind of awkward. I'm hoping I did a good job. It was like awesome to be here, and I appreciate it. And I just gotta shout out you. Like, you've been watching me on TikTok for a minute, and you've been there, and this has finally came together. And I just gotta shout out my family, the Wrestle Talk Bloodline. We just got formed, and we just like come together all the time watching wrestling. We became a family through TikTok, so I would definitely have to shout them out. and make sure they're represented. But thank you guys as well. Like, thank you so much for having me. Hopefully, I did good enough. We can do it again one day. It was awesome. I wasn't expecting. I was nervous, but I appreciate it.
Oh man, you did great, man. We just have great conversation over here, and you seen it's all chill, relaxed, man. But thank you for coming. I hope we can get together and shoot another episode in the future.
Most definitely.
KB, anything you want to say going out?
No, thank you again for coming on. And again, this is what happens when wrestling fans just come together. We're all just wrestling fans at the end of the day. And that's all it should be. Nothing more, nothing less. If you like one company, you can like one company and also like the other one. You don't have to just always play one side of the fence. We joke about it a lot, but at the end of the day, like we say at the ending, bro, we're just some fucking marks who love sports entertainment. That's all we are. And thank you again for coming. Thank you.
Thank you.
And maybe in the future we can talk about some WWE and AEW content and create some conflict.
Oh my God, that'd be awesome. That'll definitely ruffle some feathers right there.
Oh yeah, it would, most definitely. But thank you everyone for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and push that notification bell to stay up to date with all uploads. I'm Camilo Salamander, KB the Mark, King Benji. Thank you for tuning in. Simply, we some fucking marks that love sports entertainment.
I started with nothing and came out a king. I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings. It's been me and my team and we chasing the green. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free.